This is a key to the transformation worksheet, and that's transformations worksheet number 1. So number 1, it says the graph of y equals f of x plus 2 minus 3 is a graph of f of x. Shifted to the left 2 units and down 3 units, or is it B, shifted to the right 2 units and down 3 units? All right, so in number 1, which is this right here, notice there are two transformations occurring. So you have this right here, which is a horizontal transformation. So a horizontal transformation. So remember when the number's within that parentheses, that's a horizontal transformation. And then the number on the outside is a vertical transformation or translation. All right, so we'll call it translation, vertical translation, horizontal translation. Okay, so one of the things you got to remember though is this. So the vertical translation, that's easy to remember. It's very intuitive. So subtract 3 indicates you're going to take that y value and you're going to move it down 3, right? The horizontal is a little bit tricky, so it's counterintuitive of what you think. And you have to remember this form though. So if you have f of x minus h plus k, all right, f of x minus h plus k. So whenever you have situations like this, think of this, f of x minus h plus k. And so this h here will be your horizontal translation. If it's positive, if h is positive, you're gonna go to the right. If h is negative, you're gonna go to the left. And then k, so that's horizontal. And then k would be vertical. And so if k is positive, you go up. If k is negative, you go down. All right. So notice over here, though, see that f of x plus 2 minus 3? I want you to notice that you can rewrite f of x plus 2 minus 3 as f of x minus a negative 2 minus 3. All right, so this h here, this h is negative. So h is negative 2. Since h is negative 2, you're going to shift f of x to the left 2 units. Okay, and since k is negative 3, that's your vertical translation, and then shift vertically down 3 units. Okay, so whenever you have f of x plus a number or minus a number, think of this form here, f of x minus h. So it helps to rewrite this, like we did here, f of x minus a negative 2. So remember, x plus 2, you can write as a subtraction problem as x subtract a negative 2. So h is negative 2. So you're going to shift to the left 2 units, and then since k is negative, you're going to shift down 3 units. All right, so the answer to number 1 would be shift to the left 2 units and down 3 units. All right, now number 2, so let's take a look at number 2. So number 2, we have the only difference between 1 and 2 is this negative out in front. So remember, if there's a negative, and we'll go ahead and write it this way. So if you have f of, let me rewrite it like this, y equals negative f of x minus h plus k. So that negative out in front, remember that negative out in front is a reflection about the x-axis. So that's a reflection about the x-axis. All right, and so you got to keep that in mind. So that negative out in front of that function, that f of x plus h, f of x minus h, is a reflection about the x-axis. So when we look at number 2, we have y equals negative f of x minus 4 plus 2. So notice that, and you always go from left to right. So when you do your transformations, always go from left to right. So the first thing I come across is this negative. So I'm going to reflect f of x about the x-axis. And then you have that f of x minus 4. So remember this, f of x minus h plus k. So this is f of x minus 4 plus k, right? And so h here is positive 4. Since h is positive 4, since h is positive 4, you're going to shift to the horizontally to the right 4 units. So shift to the right 4 units. All right? And so since k is positive 2, that's easy. Since k is positive 2, you're going to shift up 2 units. Then shift up 2 units. All right, so those are your 3 transformations. So number 2 involved 3 transformations: a reflection about the x-axis, a horizontal shift to the right 4 units, and then a vertical shift up 2 units. Okay? All right, so number 2, the answer would be, let's see if we can find it. So reflected across the x-axis. So this is y, so that's out of it, right? And so it's one of these choices, reflect over the x-axis. Then we're going to shift to the right 4 units. So that takes this one out. So the only answer is B. So reflect over the x-axis, shift to the right 4 units, and up 2 units. All right. And then for part 2, you wanted to, given this graph, f of x, you want to graph g of x. So you got to remember what you're doing to f of x. So g of x says you're going to take f of x and you're going to shift it. Remember, got to remember this, f of x minus h plus k. So h is a positive 3, right? Positive 3. And k is a negative 2. So you're going to shift horizontally to the right 3 units and then down 2 units. Horizontally, so horizontally to the right 3 units, then down 2 units. And the good thing about this one is that those are all segments. So the best way to do this is to take each of those endpoints here of those segments and then do the translations. So for example, if you take this endpoint right here, which is at 5, 1, you take it, you're going to shift it to the right 3 units, 1, 2, 3, and then down 2, 1, 2. So there's your new point. And then here, you're going to shift it to this endpoint right here. You're going to shift it to the right 3 units, 1, 2, 3, and then down 2, 1, 2. And then over here, this endpoint, shift it to the right 3 units, 1, 2, 3, and then down 2. And then finally this one, you're going to shift to the right 3 units, 1, 2, 3, and then down 2. And then all you do now is just take a straight edge to draw your segments. So you get something that looks like this. And so what I'm drawing is going to be the function g of x. All right, so g of x, remember g of x says you're going to take f of x. G of x says you're going to take f of x and you're going to shift it to the right 3 units and then down 2 units. So this right here is g of x. Okay, so that is the transformation worksheet number 1.